This piece is called Happiness. Lately, life's been full of such transformative times. I've offered up my ties and metamorphosized through culture rhymes, and in my soul search I find a tortured mind of my own design. I can't seem to convince myself that everything is fine. I grind away my mind each day, relying on each line, each page to tell me why can't I just take some time or break and separate the person I was from who I am today just because we have the same face. To convince myself that true friends shouldn't have to be convinced to stay. And yet when I step off the stage, I'm welcomed by the warm embrace of such a supportive space, but leave it to me to contort. The applause, the rest of I got writer's block right here, and asked a dear friend of mine to lend me her ear over a couple of beers, and I said, basically lately I've been happy, but I feel like I don't deserve it. And at that moment the front door squeaked open, and while it was closing it creaked so slowly it wreaked havoc on my senses. It was the only thing that mattered, and suddenly I was focused on postponing this poem to fix something that was broken that no one had really noticed and I found it before but I couldn't possibly ignore. All that mattered was a squeaky fucking door. So I went to war with that door. And I fixed it. And after order had been restored, I returned to my friend who had proposed an answer for my writer's book. She said, maybe the flow stopped because you don't believe that anymore. You do deserve to be happy. Deserve. To do something or have or show qualities worthy of reward or punishment. The definition of the word doesn't serve justice to the reward that comes with it, but we'll run with it. Because some people can relate to the feeling of slipping, tumbling, and tripping and falling into bed with a heart full of dread and nothing but negative thoughts rolling through the head like, fuck, I ain't good enough, this shit is tough, and my skin ain't nearly as rough as I made it seem like I believed it was. At least, I've been there. Stuck with it. And sometimes I don't believe what I see with such a relieving and so pleasing community in front of me to share, sometimes exceedingly these thoughts and fears that nearly adhered me from being up here in the first place. But I've been practicing my flow, pace, delivery, even the look on my face when I embrace the goal to leave the case closed on what it took and what it takes for me to step up here, that make or break through my moments of doubt. Let me put it in perspective how I went from thinking about putting a gun in my mouth to spinning it around, and now I find myself standing in front of crowds, sharing my sound, talking about how when life hits you down, I know it sounds easy, I know it sounds cheesy, but you gotta put both feet down in the ground and shout back loud like, bitch, I ain't out for the count. Loud enough for your ears to start ringing and fierce enough for your arms to start swinging with a ferocity that would force the whole world to listen and pay attention as if you were thinking of tearing and ripping that damn front door off the fucking hinges. Some empowerment shit like, I don't need no syringe to get under your skin. There's no shortage of a warning to just keep your distance 4 inches or more, because it's a form of warning that I strike a chord with each stroke of my orange pin. And what's more important is I'm snoring through storms at 4 in the morning while performing like I could do this shit in my sleep. So just lean back and vibe, lay back and close your eyes. But if you even dream of doubt me, you ought to wake up and apologize. Sorry. I apologize. Yep, I'm getting carried away. It's like sometimes rhymes just come and I can't stop it. It's like an overflow 6 feet below the crossroad joke, coming out the dang faucet, all up in the laundry closet in the electric sockets. It's rotten, shocking word vomit, filling up to the tops of your pants pockets. Let me get back on topic. We were talking about going into another round, swinging on life in the moment of fight or flight, bringing the fight to life and hanging on tight and setting your sight on making it through the night, being light on your feet in the morning despite what you got going on inside of the head of yours. Why? Because you deserve to be happy. But what does that mean, really? Happy. A feeling of pleasure or contentment. A feeling of confidence or contentment in a person, arrangement, or a situation. Now, when I write about happiness, I encounter a complication, because see, I ain't never had it till lately, and even that was like a couple of days since. Although, there was a girl that once made me lose all sense of time over a couple of bottles of wine in the basement. She gave me a moment to catch my breath before she took it away again. And I chased an adjacent sensation as I gazed at her in amazement, feeling 1,000 things at once, but none of them were vacant. But none of them were happiness either. just like substitutes, like love and other synonyms. The good enough crew. That's the only thing I've ever been in as a result of looking outward because I was too scared to look within. Pretending I had built-in thick skin and taking it on the chin when a friend ended a relationship because I couldn't even forgive myself for committing my sins, let alone take ownership and admit that the good enough crew is only the beginning and sincerely as good as it gets if I am willing to commit to staring into the abyss and rethinking what kind of life I want to live. One that's spent attached to people that are willing to tolerate me, or being somebody who people don't feel like they're tolerating in the first place. So that's where I've been. Trying to be that guy. Trying to be loose. Trying to reduce the tension of introducing my intention. Trying to be cool with my reflection, and the hardest one's trying not to be the center of attention. And so far, maybe except for that last one, I feel like it's working. Been lowering my guard and living and learning and trying to write these bars in regards to why I'm hurting and saying au revoir to the pain and then rehearsing. So there you are. I present to you a repertoire of what my friend believes that I'm deserving. It's still difficult for me to compute, like, is this who I really am, or am I wearing some sort of person suit? A convoluted wardrobe of lonely hormones in need of control over the fear of the unknown, and promoting shows and Instagram photos and reading horoscopes and then just coming up here and exposing myself into a microphone. I suppose I won't know until tomorrow. All I do know is that I think it's working. But does that make me deserve it? So hopefully find out and bring it back. Because lately, life's been full of such transformative times. I've offered up my ties and metamorphosized through culture rhymes, and in my soul search to find the tortured mind my own design. I can't seem to convince myself that everything is fine. And I grind away my mind each day, relying on each line, each page to tell me why can't I just take some time or break or separate the person I was from who I am today just because we have the same face, and convince myself that true fans shouldn't have to be convinced to stay. And yet, when I step off the stage and welcome by the warm embrace of such a supportive space, I leave it to me to contort. The applause, the rest of it all. Stepping off, trying not to fall on my knees at the cross like I'll be crucified. On my feet I get up and walk because I know I can be a bad guy, but despite what I write late at night, it incites downright delight in broad daylight in spite of an appetite for destruction and a recipe for disaster. Most of the time I'm drunk, but when I wrote this I was plastic because I got skeletons in my trunk and my thoughts are usually scattered, but maybe I'm just a punk. I'm just a greedy little bastard. Virgin his thoughts into the dark, although it doesn't really matter if I don't continue to walk down this path that I've set after. Singing songs in the car, and songs about love and laughter, and wondering if I'm a good person or just a good actor, and hoping that it's not the latter. But I found an answer that I tell myself after. I suppose the only thing that matters really is, as long as you're consistent and resilient, not to join the millions of villains in the distance, maybe, just maybe, you do deserve to know what happiness is. I don't know, but I hope it's working. Thank you guys for listening.